Welcome, everyone, to episode 18 of our podcast. As always, I value your time, and we'll keep this fairly short so that we can understand the energy of this week from a spiritual, Kabbalistic, astrological point of view, and see what support from above is available for each of us to reach the highest part of our soul. And one of the concepts I wanted to start with is understanding how the soul works, the soul as a vessel for miracles. The Kabbalists explain that the light of the Creator, which represents all the fulfillment in our world and represents all of the light and energy and love and abundance and healing and certainty and wisdom, everything that we're looking for is encompassed in this energy of the Creator, comes down into what's called the vessel of our soul. And the body is a vessel for the soul as well. So the body houses the soul houses the light of the Creator. And so our mission in life is not so much how to connect with the light. It is ultimately, but how do we do that? Our mission in life is to receive, as the sages say, more parts of our soul, to expand our vessel, and then naturally our connection to miracles and wonders occur. The sages say that the Creator actually did not give us our full soul. And there are 5 parts to our soul. And there are 5 parts within those 5. And there's another 5. There's actually 125 complete levels to our soul. And what happens when we are born, or depending on what our past life was like, we come with a very small amount of our full perfected soul that stays in the body. Why? Because there's so much negativity, what we call tikkun, that our soul comes to the world with, either our own negativity or the negativity of the world that surrounds us. The Creator could not put such a pure soul in its entirety into our body. And as a result, work that we do, challenges that we go through, darkness that we overcome, fears that we break, cause us gradually to remove the impurity of the body and allow more aspects of our soul from above to enter. Once these greater aspects of the soul enter us, then we experience a greater revelation of the light of the Creator. And this is what equates in our lives as a shift in destiny. This is what equates as a sudden shift from an old relationship to a new one. A person is looking for a soulmate. When you really think about those words and you break it down, it is the other half of the soul. So what does that mean? It means that when I work on myself to draw the higher parts of my soul, my other half is actually coming from above. It's not coming from another person. So when I break through some form of darkness, and I will share soon one of the major tools that we've spoken about before, but we're going to speak about it a different way, that the great Kabbalist Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag gives us, one of the major tools of how to shift through darkness and receive more of these parts of our soul. But when we actually do break through and we receive our soulmate is the greater part of our soul that isn't yet in our body. Then that does manifest as a physical person. It does manifest as the career that is meant for you. Your career is a soulmate in many ways. Many times people feel, wow, I'm finally connected to the thing that I feel in my heart and soul is what I love to do. It's effortless. And that's how you know. When you're doing the work of the soul that is meant for your soul, it is effortless. It doesn't mean that there isn't hard work. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges and struggle. But it's almost like the work you're doing energizes you and is self-fulfilling. You almost don't even need a break as you do it. This is the work of the soul. And we have many different types of soulmate energy. There is the soulmate of healing, meaning that you connect to a certain vibration because of drawing down higher parts of your soul, where your body starts to heal itself in many ways. Your body technically should always be able to heal itself. But because of our own personal work and our own personal negativity and that of people around us and the world, the body begins to degrade and go through atrophy and eventually experience death. So we want to shift our mindset that What we are looking for is not a person. It's not a job. It is not a doctor who is going to help us. All of these things that we are looking for are actually the final symptom, the final result of me creating a vessel energetically that allows my soul to come down, that then houses the light, that then the light manifests physically in this world, the pleasures that we seek. So, what do the Kabbalists say about how to draw down the higher parts of our soul? And we have talked about this many times before, but I want to talk about it even deeper. Every time we experience something that is painful, that is lacking, that brings us doubts and confusion, we must pause. We must pause simply to know that I am facing this moment in time, this opportunity to draw down one of the 125 levels of my soul. And it can only come down in a time of darkness. Imagine darkness is the vessel. The only time, and I remember, sometimes in games, you substitute players in and out. And you can't just stop the middle of the game and substitute a player. And I'm thinking about basketball specifically. The coach can't just pull somebody out in the middle of a game and pull somebody and throw somebody in. You have to wait until there's a break. You have to wait until there's a timeout. You have to wait until the game is dead, essentially, before you can substitute a player in. Same with our soul. You have to wait until a moment where the game is dead, where you feel death, where you feel a timeout, where you feel that the energy is not flowing. This is a moment that you can bring in, quote unquote, the new player. This new player is your higher soul. So we must have this moment of total disconnection. And it is not that we must create it. We must do the work of giving and creating and being the best version of ourselves. And don't worry, when the time comes that there's an opportunity to draw the higher level of the soul, you will face a taste of death. You will face a rejection. You will face something that unsettles you, that makes you feel unsafe. You hear something that you do not like, that is hurtful or offensive or assassinates your character or destabilizes you in some way. This is the moment you've been waiting for. And so the Kabbalists say, certainty beyond logic. Certainty beyond logic is the greatest tool that we have in order to build and expand the vessel for our higher soul. And the great Kabbalist Rav Ashlag says, certainty beyond logic means we must believe, although our mind does not see that this is so. And the mind keeps telling you logical reasons why this situation is bad. Logical reasons why financially you are in a very problematic situation. The mind is logically telling you that, hey, you're at an age where you can't just easily have a child. And then this logic starts to propel a form of reactive thinking and behavior. It says that although the mind does not see that something good is coming, and it gives you proof that nothing good is coming, you must then implement the technology, the spiritual technology of certainty beyond logic. Meaning, you tell the mind that you believe with certainty in the fulfillment of your desire. You believe with certainty that the Creator desires to give you everything, and not only that, has already given you everything, that this moment actually is a complete illusion and it's perfect. And you are telling your mind this. You are telling essentially the negative side, the negative angel that we call the opponent. And you are saying, I believe it as if it is logical, as if I am experiencing it right now. And this is certainty beyond logic. Your body will fight you. Your mind will fight you. Your logic will fight you. And you must fight back and say, I still believe with complete certainty beyond my logical mind that everything that I am missing, I have right now. In other words, It is a lot of work for a person to take this upon himself. Why? Anything that is beyond your logic will be difficult. It's akin to basically asking someone to work for you, to maybe chop wood, carry water, do a heavy lift, and tell him, I'm not going to give you anything for it. All of a sudden, the person has no strength. The person has no energy. Imagine you tell somebody, I want you to work for my company. I want you to work 80 hours a week. I'm not going to pay you anything. And there's no reward in the end. You would never have the strength to do the work. Why? Because unless you see what you are receiving, you do not have strength. But if somebody told you, hey, I want you to work for free, but I'm going to give you 50% equity and there's going to be a big payout in 3 years from now, all of a sudden you have endless energy to work. If someone tells you, here's a paycheck, you have energy to work. If someone tells you, you're going to get respect, you're going to get fame. Why do we see now in the political climate, as people enter into politics or being appointed? I spoke to a person recently and I said, you've been asked to enter a cabinet position and you have a job now that is paying you over $10 million a year. In this new position, you will make $250,000 a year. You will be in a cabinet position in the presidency, but what a pay cut. And it's interesting. Why would a person leave a job that pays, a job he loves, that pays him $10 million a year, to go to a job that is much more difficult, more hours, more disrespect, more chaos for $250,000? Why would you take that job? Because you believe you are receiving something greater. And that is why you're willing to do it. And in our society today, if someone does not believe that they are receiving something, they will never have the strength to do it. This is what builds good culture in companies. This is what ultimately creates great friendships. This is ultimately what creates great relationships and great love and marriages. Is when you believe that you are receiving something more beyond logic than what you can see. Because when do all relationships fall apart? When you perceive that you are not getting what you want, and then you lose the strength to be a giver. And then you become sarcastic, you become bitter, you become passive aggressive, and all the slew of things that happen afterwards when you feel you are not receiving. So this is our logical mind. Your body will fight you, say the sages. However, what does it mean to be strong? It does not mean to be physically strong. King David was gibor. In Hebrew, it means he was strong. How was he strong? It said despite his body not agreeing with him and fighting him and his logic fighting him, he took upon himself certainty beyond logic. This level of certainty, however, we all struggle with getting to this level of certainty, requires help from the Creator. You cannot do this alone. For this reason, to achieve the level of certainty beyond logic, you must pray that the Creator will give you the power to be similar to Him as though you had attained everything within your logic. So this is very powerful. What are we hearing here as the tool? We're hearing that the technology of certainty beyond logic is how you draw down the additional vessel, additional soul you need to create miracles. But even to connect to this energy of certainty beyond logic, this consciousness, we need another tool, and that is prayer. And prayer, as we have learned it in the past, and we've learned it in Kabbalah 1, is in any language, in any way you want, at any time, in any place, in your own words, you ask the Creator for what you need to be of greater consciousness. It's one thing to ask the Creator, give me wealth. This is actually building a very limited physical vessel. We want to build a spiritual vessel. So if you're going to ask for something, even better to spend your time asking for consciousness, asking for strength, asking for certainty beyond logic. And this is the only way we can receive this divine gift of certainty. Pray every day, every moment you can, every free moment you have. You're in the car, you're going to finish listening to this. Before you do anything else, take a few minutes and ask for certainty beyond logic. You're waiting at a store, you're waiting in line, it's taking time, you're not at the cashier yet. Pray and ask for certainty beyond logic. You wake up in the morning, you have 2 minutes before you start your day. Pray and ask for certainty beyond logic in everything that you do. And what you want to pray for is that your certainty will be so strong that you will feel that you already have everything, as if your logic could see it. As if somebody opened up your brokerage account, your bank account, and showed you a number that would set you for life. If somebody showed you that, what would you feel? The level of certainty you would have when you see the money in the bank, that is the vibration and level of feeling you should have right now. And that is what you should pray for. If you have met the most amazing human who made you feel great, and it was a healthy relationship, and there was chemistry, and there was emotional connection, and there was spiritual connection, and there was an intellectual connection, and there was attractiveness on all levels, and it was finally so divine, what would you feel? That feeling is what you should pray for from the Creator. That is certainty beyond logic. And once you feel that feeling, then you are of the vibration, and then you attract the vessel that actually brings it. A lot of times people say, but wait, if I feel whole, if I feel like I already have it, I will no longer have the desire to receive it. And this is actually what a lot of people are subconsciously afraid of. If I actually get what I want, or if I feel like I've gotten what I want, then what motivation will I have to do anything? Why will I want to get up? Why will I want to go to work? So actually people are so afraid of receiving what they want because they feel on the other end of that is death. Because a desire that is fulfilled is a desire that no longer exists. So actually, subconsciously, people are afraid of this. And they have said this when I've shared this lesson. But wait, if I get everything I want, this is actually a scary thought. I'll probably be depressed. I'll probably have no reason to want to do anything. I like the fight. I like the war. I like the drama. I like being with a person that I can fix. Then I have something to do. I have meaning. I have purpose. This is the logical mind. And the logic is actually right. The truth is, if you were with a healthy person, what fun would that be? I spoke to somebody recently, and she had gone on a date, and it was such a good date, she said. He really checked all the boxes. And I said, what's the issue? She said, it was boring. I said, it was boring? This is what you've been asking for. Yeah, but for some reason it was boring. It didn't have the spiciness that I'm used to. It's an interesting thing. We all have some level of this because we have learned to receive energy from the war, not from the peace. And so we subconsciously desire the war, and we draw it in our lives, and we all have this. But I'll tell you what the Kabbalists say: when you finally receive something healthy, when you receive something that fulfills your vessel, when you, even if you don't receive it, but you meditate as if you already have it, it is not that you'll experience death, which is what your logic will tell you. You actually receive a new vessel. This is the new soul that comes. This new soul brings a new desire, a desire you've never had before, an elevated desire. And so even though your logic says, yes, you'll experience death, it's really the death of the old desire that is true. But what's exciting, and what you do not know, and you will not know it until it comes, is there is a whole new life waiting for you. There's a whole new destiny waiting for you. There's a whole new desire that is much greater and purer and more elevated than the desire you have now, waiting for you. So in summary, we are learning that in order to receive all that we want, we must receive higher parts of our soul. The only way to receive higher parts of our soul is when we experience a form of death, when we experience a form of lack, pain, or void. This is also why we must go through death. Everyone in this world will die at one point. It doesn't have to be that way. Eventually, there will be immortality according to the sages. But part of why we go through death is one of two reasons. One, to cleanse the negativity we've accumulated around the soul, because it was deemed that instead of actually cleansing ourselves while we were alive, we just accumulated more negativity. So we need death to cleanse it so that we have a fighting chance and free will to actually become one with the Creator. So death is a force of cleansing. And sometimes, even though it's rare, death is because of something we've fully corrected and something very positive we've done. And a very new soul, a very powerful soul wants to come down and can only come in a new destiny, a new body, in a new circumstance. Other times that these new souls come down is when we sleep. So every night when we sleep, our soul leaves, we experience a little bit of death. And based on the spiritual work of that day, you could receive a new soul. You could, if you overcame something tremendous that day. So there must always be death, darkness, a disconnection for something higher to come in. We learned about certainty beyond logic is the most powerful tool during those transition phases. You're going through pain, have certainty that actually you are full right now. You have everything you've ever wanted. You're missing love, you have love. You're missing wealth, you are wealth. You are missing wisdom, you're missing an answer. Feel the energy of complete clarity. Know that you already have the answer. Feel that vibration. And to get there, we pray. We ask. When we don't know how to get to something, when we don't know how to achieve something, we ask, and we keep asking. We keep asking even though we feel we're not receiving. Ask the Creator for certainty beyond logic. Ask the Creator to help you feel whole. Ask the Creator to show you all the opportunities, all the challenges you have are opportunities for this new soul.